at all, Colin. I would do it more.
So anyway, let me just say this. So I am tired of one argument because I am fact-based and science defender.
Oh,
it's all
great.
I'm about. All I'm about.
Here we go. Here we go.
If I hear one more time, how can you put a 2-loss Georgia team above BYU? Because I have eyes and they're way better.
Okay.
I'm going to consider recruiting. I'm going to consider the draft. And when year after year, these SEC teams are all top 8 in recruiting.
Yeah.
And then the NFL draft, half the first round is SEC. In a subjective sport, when I have to vote, I'm going to think, well, that team's got 32 NFL guys and BYU has 1. Why can't I make that? And Auburn went 9-4. They beat Bama and Oregon. And they were the 5th place SEC team.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I don't think that the SEC is quite as strong this year as they were a year ago. And Auburn's a great point.
By the way, is anybody? Big Ten's not either.
Yeah, I mean, the Big Ten is down, but you could make an argument that all these teams look down because they haven't had the cupcakes to beat up on. Well, right? And those records aren't quite as impressive because we're playing conference-only games.
Let me just stop you there. I don't think any conference is as good. Michigan's a mess. Penn State's, the Big Ten's down. Those are I don't buy Miami Hurricanes. Pac-12, I've seen Oregon play. Sorry, Washington looks small to me. And by the way, Texas ain't working.
No, because of Notre Dame's inclusion this year, the ACC is better than it has been in the past. The SEC is top-heavy this year with Bama. To your point about Georgia, though, the pushback I would give you is that it can't just be a beauty contest, right? In the Olympics, we don't just say like, well, you know, this person wins the gold medal because we just know they're better.
Why can't it be a beauty contest?
Well, because the game has to matter, right? Like, or else why do we have a scoreboard?
Well, Georgia doesn't have 6 losses. They've got 2 to Bama.
And I understand that, but they also have not played dominant football even in the last couple of weeks. Everyone's been like, boy, they've been great in the last couple of weeks. I'm like, pump the brakes. You beat a South Carolina team that just fired their coach. You played a former assistant, and Mike Bobo was the interim head coach for the South Carolina Gamecocks, who are a terrible team, by the way. You beat Mississippi State by 7. I mean, Mississippi State beat Vandy by 7. That's a winless team that's hopeless and just fired their coach. I mean, Mississippi just beat Mississippi State by the exact same score, 31-24. So I just think that this notion that Georgia has earned that spot outside of recruiting rankings is false. Now, if you want to include them, that's fine. That's your prerogative. I think that we should not rank teams based on recruiting rankings, and we should rank them based on what happens on the field, or else we don't have any way for teams to earn their way into the conversation. Okay. And I think that you're pointing more of this towards BYU. I feel some animus towards BYU.
I
sure you do. Because you know why? You're in the middle of the country, and Colin just likes to go there to ski. True story. Am I wrong?
I like skiing.
I do.
But BYU, Provo's beautiful.
Oh, my gosh, cleanest city in America. There's no doubt about it. I played some minor league baseball there.
Beautiful.
And I got some friends there.
Yeah.
Friends. Named. So what I would say about BYU, though, is you have to keep in mind that this year is so much different because, like, on BYU's original schedule, you had Michigan State, Arizona State, you had Stanford, you had Utah. There were all sorts of Power 5 teams that then pulled themselves off of that schedule. So BYU scrambled to keep the schedule intact at all. But here, hold on. All I'm trying to tell you is the same type of people that are sitting in the committee room telling me that BYU is no good based on their schedule are the same type of people that are preventing BYU from having a good schedule in the first place. The athletic directors. So I don't want to hold it against these kids who don't make the schedule themselves. Zach Wilson is in the Heisman conversation. I think he could be a first-round draft pick, by the way.
Yeah,
you want to talk about draft picks and prospects? How about the best position on the field? Georgia would trade quarterbacks for Zach Wilson in a heartbeat. So this notion that BYU is just not anywhere close to as good as Georgia, I'm not sure if that's the case this year. By the way, in the last 2 years, BYU has beaten Wisconsin, Tennessee.
Tennessee stinks.
Fine, they're one of your SEC darlings, though. They recruit better than BYU. They've recruited in the top 15. But you just told me 2 minutes ago that recruiting is all I need to know.
No, I didn't say it's all I need to know. I said it is a strong. I am a strong proponent of looking at who do you have now. If Georgia had 5 losses, I'd be like, get out of here.
Oh, so that's what it takes. Your standard is 5 losses. No, you have to have 5 losses.
In the SEC.
But no losses for BYU in a schedule that they had to make, from the scrap heap is no good. Just get out of here.
So you're giving BYU credit for games they didn't play. You're like, well, these teams backed out. Well, that's the breaks.
No, I'm also looking at the games that they did play. And while their schedule... Not a lot of great teams. Yeah, I'll be the first to admit this. However, what should a good team or a great team do against bad competition? What should they do?
Beat them by 50.
Okay, so BYU leads the country in point differential. 33.7, even better than any of the other schools in the country. They're second in the country in yard margin per game. So what are they supposed to do? Like, what's Zach Wilson supposed to do? Kalani Sitake. You tell me.
No, I'm not.
Just recruit better?
No.
They need to have the bag man come in? But I'm just wondering, because you're telling me that recruiting matters, so is it all about recruiting?
No, it's about 75%.
Okay, so do the games matter at all?
25%.
Okay, so if they're only mattering 25%, what are we doing? Why even play the games?
Well, for revenue, for big networks.
Oh, so it's just about revenue.
No, I think the games actually matter, but only
25%.
If in a subjective sport,
but it's not completely subjective.
No. That's why games matter too. Let's go 50-50. 50 on games, 50 on. So you have to win some games.
Okay, so in the biggest two games that Georgia played, they got their doors blown off, and their precious defense got hammered by Florida and Alabama.
I didn't say Georgia should be in the playoff. I just said they're better than BYU.
Well, you were defending their top 10 ranking.
Yeah, they're about 10th, 8th, 7th. They're better than BYU.
You know, if we actually had math that made sense. See, folks, here's the deal. Like if you just understand math even basically, you would understand that a 13 variable equation, which is what the committee is, has a high statistical variance of each variable. Okay, so one bias here or there is going to wildly swing the outcome.
Yes.
Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, in the BCS system, while it only included 2 teams.